I can just smell the apple cinnamon, and not just because of my candle, because it's September and that's the start of fall season. So let's get into all my comfy, cozy books I plan to read this month. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Nakia. Welcome to my channel. We are here to talk about my September TBR. Now, I am filming this at the very end of August, but you will see this in September, so we are already there. I'm already feeling it anyway. I have not put up my fall decorations, but they will be coming, so I think in my next video, you will see them in the background. But I do have my apple cinnamon candle burning here. I have a fall ambiance on my television, so I am just in the spirit. I tried to put on some fall autumnal colors for you, giving you all of it, or what I can give right now. But for this month, I am doing comfy, cozy books. I didn't want to go for things that just all take place in fall. Plus, I just didn't plan it right. I'll probably do that more in November when it's closer to Thanksgiving. But I do have books that I think are perfect for cozying up. Darker books, of course. So I have a middle grade horror, a thriller, a middle grade fantasy, and another dark fantasy book. So let's talk about them, shall we? This first one should come as no surprise because I have been waiting for this sequel to come out. And I'm talking about Amari and the Great Game, Book 2 in the Supernatural Investigation series by B.B. Alston. Like I said, you already knew this because I loved Amari and the Night Brothers. It's usually here, but I switched it out for a more autumnal book back here, but it is over here. Right here. But anyway, I digress. I love that book, and I can't really say too much about book 2 because it will give away things from book 1. But in book 1, we follow Amari, whose brother is missing, and everyone tells her and her family that he's dead because he's been missing for a while, but she believes he's still out there somewhere. And one day she goes in his room, she's digging around in his closet, and she finds a briefcase. And inside that briefcase is an invitation for her to go to the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. She gets there, and all kind of things go on because she doesn't have abilities that are out there for everyone to see. So there's kids there who don't want her there. This is middle grade fantasy. So, you know, we got to have that situation. She's also learning the ropes. And there's a whole magic system. And I love the world that B.B. Alston created. It just took me away, which is exactly what I want when I read. I read to escape and have fun. So I'm looking for more of that in book 2. Of course, things happen in book 1, you know, revelations and whatnot. So we're going to continue that in book 2, continue the adventures. She's back at the school. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the ride. I will be reading it on my Kindle because it is a newer release and my library takes forever to get them. But I will say I am debating about buying it secondhand because I do love the first book and I'm kind of like, I probably will love the second one. So we'll see. Stay tuned. I'm still sticking to being minimalist, so I'm still not buying books like that. But like I said, stay tuned. Let's talk about book number 2. And while we are on the subject of series, I will be reading another second book in a series. And that would be The Binding Room by Nadine Matheson. And this is book 2 in the Angelica Henley thriller series. Once again, I mean, this one I don't think is really too much you can say that's going to spoil book 1. But in book 1, we follow Inspector Angelica Henley. This is a UK-based series, so they have different names for their detectives and whatnot. But she is in search of this serial killer called the Jigsaw Man. So book 1 was the Jigsaw Man. And he also seemed to be tracking her. And then there was a copycat, and she was trying to figure out who the copycat was and also looking for him. And it was a good amount of fun. I think I gave book 1 like 3.5 stars. It was a little bit long, which this one is also a bit chunky. It's about 500 pages. But I love the audiobook in book 1, and I was able to get the audiobook for this one on the Libby app from my library. So I love the narration, and I can't wait to cozy up with this book. This probably will be the first one I read this month because I'm gonna need time to get through all this. In this book, Inspector Henley is still recovering from what happened in book 1 with the Jigsaw Man. Of course, I cannot say, but she went through some things. It starts off because I already looked at a sample with her in therapy and dealing with the things that she went through. And so I love that part of it. But she is called to the scene of another gruesome murder. It is a priest at a church. And while she is there, she discovers another victim tied to a bed in the upstairs room of the church. He is bound by rope, which is why we have the rope theme for the cover. So as she investigates these crimes, another murder happens, and it seems that we may have another serial killer on the loose. So of course, we're going along with her to investigate. I know so many of you don't like police thrillers and investigations and whatnot. I love them. I love police shows. I used to. I don't watch a lot of TV anymore, but I used to love Law & Order SVU, NCIS I've enjoyed. So yeah, I love playing detective and trying to figure out what's going on and going along with them on the crime scene and them taking pictures of the evidence and all that stuff. I just love it. I also love law stuff. So if you have any legal thriller recommendations, you can also let me know below. But yeah, I am enjoying this series and I look forward to cozying up with this. I don't know if it takes place during fall, but just the cover gives me that. And I know how I felt when I read the first one, and it's dark, so it's perfect for fall. Murder, fall. Let's move on. Next up, I have a middle grade horror, and just the cover once again just gives me comfy cozy vibes. I know it's horror, but it looks comfy cozy to me. And I'm speaking of Night Books. Who's this by? By J.A. White. This one I actually started to read a little bit of last month because I fell into a slump, which you will find out about in my August wrap up. But this one I was into, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hold it for September. I had already put a hold on it at my library. It came up, so I picked it up and I'm ready to dig into this book. But I did not know that this is a Hansel and Gretel retelling. So we follow a boy named Alex who sneaks into the apartment of a neighbor, and she turns out to be a witch. She has another child held captive there, and she tells him the only way he can escape is to tell her a good spooky story. So of course, Alex has to tell her all kind of scary stories. That's all I know about it. I'm intrigued. We got the books, you know, we got scary stories within a story. And yeah, like I said, when I started reading this, it already started off spooky and creepy, and I was like, cannot wait. So this will be getting me ready for October, spooky season. So yeah, looking forward to it, of course. Okay, this next one I talked about in my most anticipated book releases for the second half of the year. And it's funny because when I talked about it, I was like, this book is weird and crazy, but I'm intrigued. And I read a little bit of the sample when it was released on August 2nd, and I was like, oh, I have to read this ASAP. And I'm speaking of The Book Eaters by Sun Yi Dean. Now, I'll also be reading this on my Kindle as it is a new release. It is hard to get from my library, but I am very excited about this one. Like I said, the writing just grabbed me from page 1 on to 2, etc. Like I said, I try to read samples before I decide if I'm going to read a book or not to see if I vibe with the author's writing style, and we vibing. But let me just remind you of what it's about. I'm not going to go too deep because I did that in my anticipated book releases video, but I know we are following a woman named Devin. She is part of a reclusive family of book eaters. In this fantasy world, the books you eat have a flavor that has to do with the genre of book. So if it's a romance, it's going to be sugary sweet. If it's a spy novel, it says it's a peppery snack. So that is just so intriguing in and of itself. I can't imagine eating a book, but the thought of the taste matching the type of book is just so clever to me. I don't know if it's been done before. It's new to me. So in this world, it is expected of women to eat certain types of books like romance, etc. You know, probably contemporary fiction. I don't know. But Devin wants to eat the same type of books that her brother and other male members of her family eat. But then also, she has a son, and she realizes that her son has an appetite for more than books, possibly human brains. So it sounds a little spooky. I don't know. I have no idea what we're getting into, but I am so intrigued. I don't care as long as it's comfy, cozy, and takes me away to another world, which how can it not with this premise? I'm on board. I'm ready for it. I know some of you have already read it because I've seen your reviews and updates popping up on Goodreads, and I was so jealous, but like I said, it's about to be my turn. I can't wait. So there we have them. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, all the books I plan to read in the month of September. I just hope that all of these books go well and I don't have a DNF. But because I have 2 books that are the second books in series that I've enjoyed, I have faith that those will go well. And the middle grade horror I think will go well, and Night Books I think will go well. So we'll see. I just don't want to fall into a slump like I did last month, but I have backup plans in case that happens. So wish me luck. And feel free to let me know in the comments what you're planning to read in the month of September. Are you already in the fall spooky season? Do you have any fall specific themed books that you will be reading? Let me know in the comments. I love to chat about it. And if you don't have a comment, but you just want to let me know that you made it this far in the video and or show me some love, you can leave me an autumn leaf emoji because we are ready for fall. And as always, ways you can support my channel are always linked below, as well as all the books I mentioned. I will have those linked below also. And I think that wraps up this video. So until next time, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book, unplug as much as possible, be kind to all kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.